Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Napoleon Total, and today we're back with another enlisted gold order weapon suggestion, and in this case we're going to be doing the Italian assaulter weapons for this time. Obviously, I'm still pretty happy considering the fact that a lot of the weapons that have been released a few days ago were actually from my Japanese gold order weapons that I've suggested. Some of them are just going to be in the progression, and some of them are going to be with the premium squad, such as the Type 1 SMG. For those who haven't watched that video, I highly suggest that you watch that video. But with that said, this video has been made 100% possible for the friends at Discord. As a matter of fact, Italia Vargo has been helping me with the Discord, and if you want to check out his forums, I highly suggest that you do. With that said, let's get on with this video. The first weapon that we have for today is the Beretta PG. The Beretta PG was developed in the early 1930s by Cavaliere Seicenti Florini, the chief designer at Beretta. It was trialed by the Italian army in 6.5 by 52, but it was not adopted. Beretta also offered the PG for export, with Costa Rica providing a small placement from 1935 to only 200 models in 7x57 Mauser. Otherwise, it was commercially unsuccessful and production ended around 1940. At least one of them had been used to develop the first burst firing mechanism on the M16 rifle. The design on the Beretta PG was a gas-operated selective fire rifle that was fired from an open bolt. The gas piston took the place of the jacket tube that encased the barrel rather than being placed separately, and the gases upon fire would escape from the surrounding gas tubes through vents in the barrel. The breech was fully locked. The PG had a fire selector that included burst fire, semi-automatic functions. The burst fire functions deliver 4 burst rounds regulated by escapement devices connected to the trigger mechanism, with some versions built for domestic Italian markets, which were built in semi-automatic only with no fire selector. The rifle also featured a fully detachable magazine consisting only of 20 rounds, where the Costa Rican model featured a more curved blade, which accommodated for the 7.7x57mm cartridge that was to be used to design to house. Both magazines were windowed, allowing the users to keep track of how many bullets they expended. With that said, this is the Beretta PG. This is basically a semi-automatic rifle, which can also be used as a fully automatic rifle, similar to the AVS. But of course, it can also be used as a burst fire rifle, so essentially it's an early version of an assault rifle. After that, we have the OG-44, and this is quite unique considering that it was after Giovanni Olani, engineer at the Cromon plant at Armaguerra. The OG submachine gun was developed from 1942 to 1944. The initial prototypes, known as the OG-44 or the OG-42, utilized a bullpuck design in which the magazine acted as a pistol grip and was then inserted into the receiver behind the trigger mechanism. Design proved to be awkward, so in 1944 the weapon was then rebuilt as a more conventional submachine gun with the magazine feeding for the trigger. It was offered with both a folding metal stock and a solid wooden stock. The OG-44 design was never developed any further due to the lack of commercial interest, and Italy military was satisfied with the large supply of M38 and TZ-45s and the FNAB M43s. In total, only 14 OG submachine guns were produced, the majority being OG-44s. Only one of each are able to exist today. An OG-42 survives in the private collection. A folding stock OG-44 is currently displayed at the Beretta Museum in Pescara, Italy, and a wooden folding stock OG-44 is in possession of the Royal Armouries collection in the UK. After that, we had the Armaguerra Mod 35. The Model 35 was designed in 1935 by the firm of Armaguerra in Genoa. It does not appear to have been mass-produced in significant numbers, as it was not commercially successful. At least one sample of the weapon is known to survive today in the museum in Tenerife design. The Armaguerra was a blowback-operated submachine gun. It had no select fire capability and fired exclusively in full auto. The weapon fed from a detachable box magazine feeding from a magazine well located in the right of the weapon. After that, we have the TZ-45. The TZ-45 was a submachine gun designed by 2 Italians, Tonon, a colonel in the RSI, and Zorzi, a gunsmith that was produced by the Granazzo factory. All of estimates of 6,000 TZ-45s were produced and issued to the RSI, the Republic of Social Italia. Units were then fighting against Italian partisans during the Civil War in northern Italy, yet it was possible that a few of them ended serving with the Wehrmacht, engaged in similar operations. After the war, the remaining guns were given to the British military and American forces. It was then evaluated by them, but the general opinion was then unfavorable. The gun emerged from the war with a poor reputation for reliability, and the style of manufacture and finishing was unpopular. The projects and the manufacture rights of the gun were later sold to the Burmese army, where they manufactured as the BA-52, also known as the Nhi Win Sten, and the Burmese copies were roughly manufactured and unreliable, but they remained in service into the mid-1980s, with their infantry even into the 1990s with support troops. The TZ-45 was manufactured with steel stampings and was welded together with relatively simple finish applied. The action of the firearm is simple blowback, however the returning spring is assembled around the guided rod itself with two pieces. The telescopes as the bolt returns, completing the cycle of operation, and a muzzle compensator which is also fit to the firearm, and the shoulder stock of the weapon is formed out of steel rods that slide among the receiver when retracted. There are two separate safety systems fitted on the firearm, a fire selector with a safe position that locks the bolt in the forward and the rearward position, and a safety grip behind the magazine housing, and a ladder of the safety systems preventing the bolt from moving in the direction of clocking or firing unless properly held. The pin of the second safe wedge is a specially designed notch in the lower center left part of the bolt, preventing the bolt itself from rolling back in the case of accidental shocks taken by the weapon. Accidental discharge were a common occurrence in similar submachine guns, stand and the other, such as a double safety system the TZ-45 utilized, proving to be a breakthrough in which would inspire later submachine guns, such as the Danish Madsen 50. After that, we have a very good weapon, and this is considered as either a machine gun or a light machine gun, since I've seen some pictures of a light machine gun, albeit I do not know why a lot of people have used this as an assaulter weapon, which is kind of interesting. But that said, this is the Vela Perosa. The Vela Perosa is a Revelli automatic machine gun as an Italian double-barreled, yes you heard me correct, a double-barreled pistol carbine machine gun that was designed by Albini Revelli. It was adopted by the Italian army during World War I as the Fiat Model 1915, which was almost universally known as the Vela Perosa, and is often credited to be the first submachine gun. The Vela Perosa was originally patched on the 8th of April 1914 by Albert Bellelli Revelli, an Italian engineer, and the production lines were owned by the Office de Vela Perosa, in which the weapon gained its name. Revelli conceived the Vela Perosa as a lightweight machine gun for the Bersaglieri, capable of being transported by bicycle-mounted light infantry. It was accepted into Italian service in 1950 and produced the gun to be associated to the Fiat factory in Turin, in which Beretta and Assaldo assisted in the manufacture of such components. Contrary to popular belief, was not actually designed to be mounted on aircraft, and only about 350 of them were fitted to flying boats during the early stages of the war. Infantry battalions were given the main recipe of these guns, and the army fielded it as a portable submachine gun for the Venetian Alps. The lightweight and compact size of the weapon made it very easy to swiftly transport and set up on the mountain terrain, where traditional heavy machine guns were not suited. Initially, it was used in defensive roles, but by the end of 1916, it was deployed as an assault weapon, hence why it is in this video. The Vela Perosa was originally designed to be fired from a metal shield mounted neck chirped around the circular midsection of the gun. However, troops found out this mount was cumbersome and often used without it. By 1917, a lighter and more practical bipod mount had been developed for the gun, which replaced the shield. A version of the gun with the flexible pedal was also produced, which can be lifted into an area mount or a tripod, and from 1917 to 1918, the Italian government contracted a Toronto-based electric company to manufacture the Vela Perosas. The Austrian-Hungarian armies also developed two copies of the Vela Perosa, one which was simply a 9mm conversion of the Steyr, also known as the Sturm pistol, and the other which was independently developed by FEG, which was known as the former M17, which was constructed from two upside-down former stop machine guns arranged on a tripod. During World War II, the Vela Perosa was also known as the Raspberry by Italian troops due to the high rate of fire, and if you're wondering, yes, the Beretta 1918, the VMP 1918, were basically Villaparosas, and they were basically Villaparosos cut in half. Obviously, I'm exaggerating and I'm simplifying a lot, but that is basically the idea. With that said, guys, this is all it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and comment in the video down below what other suggestions you would like to hear. For Gold Order weapon suggestions, of course. Now before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.